Hey, what's going on, guys? Mike Glover, back to basics. Let's talk about how to prevent a carjacking. A couple statistics that you should know. Since 2019, carjackings are up 93%. Right now, it's about 12. It's 11.6 out of 100,000 people could be the victim of a carjacking, as opposed to in 2019, that was half, it was 6. Right now, the ages of 20 to 34 are the target demographic. An interesting stat out of Chicago, which is the carjacking capital of the United States. In 2023, there were 1,307 carjackings with 37 arrests. That's right, it's a crime that a lot of people get away with. Now, I'm going to give you 3 tactics or 3 tips on how to prevent a potential carjacking. Now, I'm not going to talk about the tactics depending on where you live, depending on the law on where you live. I'm not going to talk about the tactics of what you do if getting carjacked. We'll talk about that at a later time. Let's stick to basics on how to prevent it. All right, guys, so right now I'm in a parking lot, and you should know that you're very exploitable. Now, these brazen criminals, especially in Chicago, don't care where you are, but if you're in a parking lot and you're following the same pattern of life that everybody else is, then you're going to be exploitable in the moment, especially when you're getting inside of your vehicle. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips and tactics on how to approach your vehicle so you're not going to be most vulnerable. All right, guys, so most people, as they're approaching their vehicle, they approach from the back of the vehicle, which is just normal, right? It's pretty common to do that. But let's walk through this scenario. I got my keys in my pocket, and I'm walking up on my truck. I unlock my truck, and I go to walk into this situation. All right, so I walked up in a situation where I'm nearly pinned in between me and the other vehicle. As I open my door, I'm now in a situation where somebody comes up behind me, I have nowhere to go. I'm actually put into a position right here where I have my back against the wall, okay? A very vulnerable position to be in. The alternative is, because most people are used to coming up on the back side of their vehicle and approaching their driver's side door, you do the opposite. So follow me. All right, so I'm walking up on my vehicle. What am I doing now? I'm deviating my route. I mean, it's almost like reconnaissance. You never want to go in the same way every single time. So I'm just simply deviating my route. I'm walking to the front of my vehicle, about 5 cars out, and I'm instead going to approach my vehicle from the front of the vehicle. So I'm coming up on the front of the vehicle. Now, what's cool is, if you look at the truck right here, I have lots of situational awareness of everything around my truck. And also, if somebody was following me looking for an opportunity, they're in a precarious situation. Because as I walk around here, navigating the bush, I come here. And so here, I'm able to see down the truck if anybody's coming up. And if somebody's coming up behind me, which is typically how carjackers lurk, they're not going to come in front of you. You're not going to see them coming. They're going to sneak up behind you. Now I have a situation where I unlock the door and I could open the door and use it to block their position. I mean, look, if somebody wants to carjack you, they're going to carjack you. But if you could do everything you can to prevent it because you see them coming, or you can give them an obstacle in between you and them, well, that's a good thing. All right, guys, pro tip number 2. Okay, so the first thing you'll notice is when I shut the door, it didn't lock. Most vehicles don't auto lock when you shut the door. Some vehicles do. Some vehicles auto lock when I put the key in the ignition, or rotate it forward, or actually start it, or put it in reverse, or put it in drive. Mine doesn't do any of that. So this Ford F-350 doesn't auto lock at all. So what do you have to do? Well, it's simple. As soon as you shut the door, create a habit to manual lock. What you have working at your advantage is this. This is tempered glass. There's plenty of YouTube videos that you could watch of road ragers banging on the glass and breaking their hand because they can't get through this. They think they could just punch through this. This is a very good obstacle that's going to prevent, at least for a temporary period of time, the carjacker from making access. What can you do in the meantime? Well, you could use the car for its intended purpose, drive away. All right, guys, so last pro tip. Well, I mean, it's not the last pro tip. In fact, if you have your own pro tip to avoid a carjacking, go ahead and leave it in the comments down below and make sure you subscribe. So we're inside the vehicle and either I'm getting in or I'm about to get out, or anytime I'm in and I park and I'm static, again, I'm exploitable. So what can you do? Use the mirrors, the rear view, the left and right mirror to gain some situational awareness. You don't only have to turn your head when you're checking blind spots. You can actually do that because those are blind spots where bad guys can hide. You could do that when you're getting out or when you're getting inside the vehicle to get some situational awareness. So left mirror, rear view mirror. My Bowen Customs is there, so you're not gonna see anything. Right mirror, and then I'm gonna look and check into my blind spots. Situational awareness is so underrated because it just means paying attention. A lot of people, especially when they're getting in and getting out of their vehicles, want to check their cell phones. I mean, I see people eating sandwiches with one hand and texting with the other. When you're inside of a vehicle, try to create a habit of putting your cell phone away and down and not being distracted, because often when you're distracted, you're vulnerable, you're exploitable, and the bottom line is somebody wants to carjack you, like in Chicago, with 1,300 people in 1 year, in one city in America, you're gonna get carjacked. It's just doing your best to prevent it by paying attention. It's that easy, guys. Well, it's easier said than done. I'll say it that way. Guys, I hope you enjoy this series on Back to Basics. It's just getting back to some basic tips to make you better prepared. Check out fieldcraftsurvival.com. Till next time, peace out, guys. I'm coming inside the